Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Five Question Podcast with me, your host, Lana. This is a labor of love for me, guys. I've been really wanting to do more interviewing because I feel so safe when I'm having deep conversations with people that I admire. And that's kind of what this is. We start with five questions and we just see where the conversation takes us from there. We're obviously going to talk way more about different things, but we have all kinds of different topics. So honestly, I don't know how frequently I'm going to post. I don't know. I really don't want to be a slave to capitalism for this. This is for me. This is for me. It's soul work. So I really hope you guys enjoy the episode. I hear myself saying a lot and I'm already editing in my head. That's not what this is about. Today's episode, I interview a good friend of mine, Diamond Williamson, who is an artist and a storyteller and a director, about jealousy. We're going to talk about jealousy because it's a natural human emotion and it gets a lot of bad rap. So I want to talk to people about jealousy. Have you felt it? So I hope people can really relate to this episode. And here's to doing the things you're afraid to do. And I just hit my chin on the mic and I'm leaving it in there because that's the kind of podcast this is. I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Okay, I'm actually going to record an intro, but for now, this is the Five Question Podcast, the very first official episode of the Five Question Podcast. And today I have Diamond Williamson, who is an artist, a storyteller, and director, originally from Oklahoma, but is now living in Dallas, Texas. Welcome, Diamond.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm very excited because Diamond is the one who's been encouraging me to start this for like probably a year now at this point, and I'm doing it. It's only for me. That's why I really like it, but we'll talk about that later. Today's episode, we're gonna talk about jealousy because it's a conversation Diamond and I have been having a lot. It gets a lot of flack because it seems like a very negative thing, but we want to just talk about it because it's a part of the human experience. So
Exactly.
before we start, I'm going to start every episode with an affirmation. So today's affirmation is all of my feelings reveal a deeper truth within myself. The closer I get to the truth, the more and more I am freed. I'm going to say it one more
I
time.
love that.
All of my feelings reveal a deeper truth within myself. The closer I get to the truth, the more and more I am freed. And I came up with that one just because we're talking about jealousy and the negative that comes with it, but we know that there's truth behind it. So that's the whole point.
I love that.
Um, okay, so my first of the five questions, and guys, we might go more than five questions. Five questions just set the framework. Okay. So our first question is: when is the last time you can remember being jealous?
Oh my God. Probably last week. Goodness. I mean, it's just like it comes and it goes so often because of social media. It can be like, oh, I see somebody and I'm like, I want that. I wish I had that. You want to know who I'm the number one person I'm jealous of? Well, there's two people I'm always jealous of, Issa Rae and Kevin Hart. And I'm jealous of like my peers sometimes, but them for real because I'm like, oh, I can't wait to be able to like just do whatever I want to do because I have endless amounts of money and I can just invest in all of my ideas. But yeah, it happens often.
Is that jealousy though with them? Is it really like I'm jealous of them? Is that the real
Yeah.
emotion?
Yeah, I would say so because like I and maybe I don't know the difference between jealousy and envy, but like I want that life. You know what I'm saying? Like and maybe it's not their exact life, but like I'm thankful for my surroundings. I'm thankful for where I live. I would also like a large home and to be able to travel freely and to be able to like have children and to be able to do all the ideas that I want to do. I think that's the thing that I'm most envious of or jealous of is like just the ability to do things that I actually want to do and make a living from it. I think anybody that gets to do that, like I'm jealous of, honestly.
That's very honest. Thank you for sharing that because not many people would say that or name names. So
All
I
the
think
time.
we're
Every
here to
time
be
Issa
honest.
drops something, sorry to interrupt you. Every time Issa drops something, I'm like, oh. And sometimes it's definitely because I think sometimes people don't believe that you could be jealous and happy for somebody, and it's like I can. I love it. Yes, congratulations. And even just to my everyday peers, it's like yes, congratulations. And I would like that too. And sometimes it comes with like this woe is me, like, oh, why? Like, why not me? So, sometimes that can be how I feel.
When you see like a post from Issa or Kevin, what does it bring up? Like, is this something specific that a feeling or maybe a memory, or like, what is it really bringing up? Is it
Mm,
outside of like, oh, I want a bigger house and I want to be able to afford my dreams? Like, what else does it bring up?
like, it makes me feel like I'm not working hard enough. And I know that I'm working hard, but it makes me feel like I'm not working hard enough. Like, do I, are there other things I need to do? Or even just like with my friends, right? Or people that I know, it's like, okay, what I will say is hard to watch sometimes is like people get opportunities that you would love for yourself, right? Because it's like, man, I've been working hard too. I would love that. Or see people constantly getting jobs, constantly getting new gigs and new opportunities. And it's like my inbox is like not overflowing with those things. That can be very difficult. And like sometimes I definitely feel jealous of that. So I don't know. I think I went a little bit off track with your question, but
No,
that's what
I
it
think
brought
like
up.
for me too, like I realized recently that the feeling I was feeling was jealousy because I'm not gonna name names, but two prominent because it's too close, the
Yeah.
circles are too close. But it's two people who I see a lot, and I feel like they're elevating in their career, same thing. And I was just looking like I made it about like when I see them in public, I feel like they don't speak to me or whatever, and that is sometimes true. But I think what it is like, oh, I think I'm jealous. Like, and I didn't realize it until recently. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. Am I being, because my biggest fear is to be a hater. Like, I never want to be a hater. And I felt like that, me being like, oh, they don't speak. Now, sometimes they don't. But I feel like I was being a hater. And it was coming from like, you actually just wish you were where they are. And
Yeah.
you're looking around like, I'm just as talented. I'm just as smart. I'm just as beautiful. Like, why is it them? And I made it about, oh, that's because they got this opportunity way back when and I didn't get it. And I wasn't getting them for a long time when people were getting those. I was
Yeah.
working corporate jobs, going in the bathroom and crying and listening to TD Jakes to get through every day.
Mhm.
And they were excelling at that time. So I was like, oh my God, it just hit me very recently. And I was like, oh, you're jealous. Like, you got to work through that. And now, and it's like the same thing. I'm happy for them. I
Yep.
love them.
Yep.
But I have had that moment of being like, why them? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Or
Why
it's not
them?
even why them. Why not me? Like,
Why not
that's
me? Right. And I feel like living in Atlanta, there'd be a certain group of people and it felt like they were always like getting opportunities to sit on stages and do all these things. And I'm like, I used to feel like this. I don't value these things as much anymore, but like, the opportunity to speak on stages and be flown out to speak and share your story and all of that. Like I used to be very jealous of those things. I mean, I think now that's not what I'm so jealous of. I'm like, that's okay, whatever. God has a very specific calling for me, but I do remember that point in my life. And sometimes I would let that motivate me, like in my 20s, let that motivate me for how I moved and how hard I worked. And it's like, the more that I've learned myself, the more I realize I ain't trying to do all of that. And I'm trusting in, you know, my own journey.
hmm yeah, that's a good point too. And the things you're jealous about changes as you change. You know, like
Absolutely. Because now I'm just like, I just want to make money from my art all the time, lots of it. Like, so if people are doing that, I absolutely get jealous of that. I'm not afraid to admit that because I've been working 10 years, like over 10 years towards this, and it feels like I'm still working really, really hard at it. And that doesn't take away from anybody else's hard work. It's just like, when does my opportunity come? And that's the thing. Like I feel like it's on the way. It still doesn't. I'm still working through those things.
still human.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still human. I love that. Still human.
That was a
Exactly.
good point. It's like I've been doing this for so long. And you hear everybody's success story, like I put 15 years in it. And like look at somebody like Victoria Monet. Right now, she's been in the game, 10 or 15 years, and she's being nominated for Best New Artist, right? Been to different
Right.
labels. And it's happening like for her now, but I'm sure she's had people she's looked up and been like, dang, I wish that was me. And I'm doing the work. So it's not for lack of trying. It's
Right. It's
just
definitely not for lack of trying. And I love that, like, it's something that I could talk about with my therapist because it's an emotion. It's an actual
mhm.
feeling. And I don't want to deny myself of this. And I feel like social media just makes it all worse. And it's not something that like our parents could have taught us growing up because they didn't know we'd have social media where you just see everybody's life. But I also think the older that I get, the more you also learn about you're in the industry. It's like, yeah, what's for me is for me
Yep.
at the end of the day.
Another one I don't want to admit is like my jealousy comes more in my relationship, my romantic relationship, than my career. Baby, this
Mhm.
girl is
Mm.
cuckoo.
I
She
don't want you to I mean, I just like I don't want you to call yourself crazy.
it gets crazy. It gets a little crazy sometimes. Like I can be honest, like because I'll hear myself sometimes, or like hear my thoughts, like, girl, what?
Are you
Like
judging yourself though to the point where you feel bad about it?
yes,
Oh,
100%, 100%. I will be like, and then when I'm gonna like talk myself through in my head first, and so I'm like, okay, why am I jealous? So like with
yeah.
my partner, like it could just now he's a flirt, he's a Sagittarius, so
Okay.
but he's a flirt, and like I'll just be looking, and it's not like I'm jealous of that person.
Yeah.
It's what I'm jealous of is the attention. So
Yes.
it's like you laughing too hard.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know what I
oh my
mean?
God. Can I tell you, Sydney and I just had this instance the other day because I'll tell you, like in queer relationships, it's interesting, right? Because like she's most likely going to have girlfriends.
Hmm.
And so it's like if she's making she's made some new girlfriends through work. And one of them, she was just laughing a little bit too hard. I was like, sis, what's going on? I said, sis, what's going on? And you're right. It's not that I'm jealous of the person. And Sydney was so shocked because she's like, ma'am, what's going on? But
Yeah,
I wasn't, but that's kind of like one of the I don't know. I've just never been that outwardly jealous with her, and she was so shocked. But I'm just glad I could be that with her
yeah.
without feeling bad about it. Because it's like,
Hmm.
sis, I have the right, to feel this way.
And it can make your partner super uncomfortable too. Like we go to therapy too. So like sometimes he's like, I don't know what I can do or what I can't do because it's come a long way now. In the beginning, it was like, all right, now you're not gonna play in my face. But as we got more serious and I set my boundaries of like, this doesn't work for me. Like I know this used to work in your last relationship. Flirting with the waitress, don't fly over here. Like that's not cool. It's not gonna work for me.
Yeah.
And it's like I can check myself and be like, that attention that he's giving that person does not take away from you. And that's what I have to remind myself of because in that moment, that's what you're feeling like, oh no, like that feeling of fear of loss, or that feeling of like, I don't want anybody else to make you feel as good as I make you feel because then what's my
Exactly.
value? Why am I
Right.
here?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I feel the same way because I'm like, what are you laughing so hard about and why? Like, what do you like? It's nothing's that funny with anybody
Nothing.
else, you know?
I'm funny. Like,
Right,
like
but I think it's the person that she's laughing with, right? Like somebody I've never met, a girl, like
hmm
she went out with somebody else the other day, and I just was like, "Oh my God, have so much fun," like
hmm
please. But
yeah.
this person, I'm like, don't have fun.
Yeah.
But I think I'm so glad that we're talking about it because it's natural. Like I feel like when we talk about it, we take the shame away from it, and I think the way that we're dealing with it feels in a in alignment with who we want to be, right? Because we're not
hmm
letting it just like manifest into a different type of energy that we may not necessarily want.
Yes.
I know I've done that in the past, but this I feel more mature about.
Yeah, I mean, just recognizing and noticing it and being like, "Ooh, okay, adjustments, small adjustments." And I know some of it. I'm Scorpio Venus, like it's gonna be intense over here. It's gonna be
It's
intense.
spicy. It's
So
spicy.
yeah, it's gonna be spicy. And thankfully, right now, I'm working with a partner who is like doesn't hold on to anything. Sagittarius again. So he's just like whatever. But learning boundaries and respect, and then me realizing like what insecurity is that? Because this is all an
Mm,
inside job. So like, what is that?
wow.
Fear. Okay, what if the joke was funny? Like what does that mean? What does that mean about you? It shouldn't mean anything. It shouldn't mean I'm not less of anything
Right.
by
Oh my God. I was just talking to my therapist about assigning meaning to things because I'll do that. I think as an
hmm
only child, like, and this is my experience, right? Like I was an only child. I had a lot of time with myself, a lot of time to tell myself things. And then I went out into the world and like let the world tell me things. Cause,
Yes.
you know, people close to me weren't telling me that these things weren't true. So it's like I
hmm
have a really it's something that I have to get better at because I assign meaning to so many things. I could
too.
assign meaning to somebody's deep sigh, to somebody's pause, like to somebody's like short sentence, and I'm really trying to work on that.
Girl, we see each other because I do the same thing. I'm like, why'd you say it like that? Like, what is that?
Yes.
What
Oh
does
my.
that mean? Like, I don't know. Oh, this may be a whole nother episode. I think that's linked to like people pleasing,
Yeah.
in some way. Real quick, I'm gonna share a real quick story.
Yeah,
Like,
please.
my partner, he's like, if he's not happy and joyful, his face looks really mean. And so someone recently said to him, like, "Oh, he smiled at me. Like, I've never seen him smile at me before." And he's like, "What?" Because if you know him, he's goofy. Like, he smiles all the time. But if you don't, he doesn't. So it made me think about that. Like, I can be like that too if I meet somebody and maybe they don't give me like a smile or whatever.
Mm,
And I was like, "Oh, I think that's linked to people pleasing because I need to know immediately how you feel about me, or I don't know
yes,
what to do." So
yes.
if you're not immediately showing me how you feel, then I'm like, "Oh God, how do I have to fix this?"
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Yep, I can see that. I can definitely see that in friendships. And I think that brought up something for me in terms of jealousy of friendships. I know that within my last friend group, it was a group of us, but within the group, there were people that were closer to each other. And I just would be so jealous of that, like it just felt like they were closer. They had intimacy, like they, would just spend time together in a different way. And I know that is something that I would be really jealous of is just like that very intimate partnership or friendship where you feel like you can tell them everything, you can call them for
Mhm.
every little detail. That was a big thing for me.
Yeah, so I get that. All right, now this is the second question, even though I've already asked a million. Is jealousy bad?
No, oh my gosh. One thing my therapist has helped me with is like assigning things as good and bad. Like I don't do that anymore. I think jealousy is natural. And I really think that like the thing that I've learned through therapy is just like how to be human. And I feel like that is so lost in just be in the world, like just the fact that
Yeah,
we are actual humans and the things that we come with simply because we are human. I feel like that's forgotten. And it's not
yeah.
even something that we might be taught or that we know, but like I feel like jealousy is a natural human emotion. It's a matter of what we how we deal with it.
But I'm hearing, like you say, is like we lost the human in the healing. Like we're all on
Yeah.
healing, and healing is so sexy now, but we forget that like it's a human that's healing. So
Yes. So it's
it's
like,
not going to be. Go ahead.
sorry. I'm so
No, it's
bad.
okay.
I mean,
It's okay.
I
You're
thought
so not bad at this. We
right.
like to talk.
We do. I feel like it's when people are like talking about things like jealousy or it's like you shouldn't be jealous or they define it as a hater. Like they assign this other title to it when it's like, no, this is a real thing. This is how I feel. It's okay that I feel this way. There's nothing wrong with me feeling this way. And like embracing that, I think sometimes it's the the narrative that sits in the front when you talk about jealousy is like people being angry, people fighting, people being a hater versus like, oh, they just want what they may want what that person has or something like that.
It's like you got me the book, The Garden Within, which I
Girl.
love. And
Yes.
it talks so much about emotions and how they are good. They're just indicators. So like I think what I'm hearing even in our conversation now is like I'm feeling jealousy rather than I am a
Yes.
jealous
Yes.
person. And I say that about myself. I'm trying to stop saying like I'm like, I know
Feeling
I can
that.
be jealous. I know I'm a jealous person. It's like, no, I mean you might feel jealousy more than the average person, and you need to figure out what it is. Like we just talked
Mhm.
about, like why, what is the feeling behind that? But it's really just I'm feeling jealousy. And when you say it that way, it's almost like, oh, let me unpack. Let me see why am I feeling jealousy?
Right.
Yeah,
It takes it away from like it's not a
identifying.
personality trait. It is
Yes.
genuinely a feeling. Yes. I like that. That's something that I have to work on, like communicating that I'm feeling jealous. Because even communicating it is uncomfortable because there
Hmm.
is that fear of judgment, or that fear of also somebody immediately trying to give you advice. I don't need that. I Leave me alone. I know how I feel, and I know that this feeling will pass.
Yes, that's good. That immediately trying to give advice is
Just
yeah.
I know, you
I
know what?
didn't.
I gotta practice though. I do not do a good job at like letting people know what I need. So like I want to practice communicating how I'm feeling, also letting people know I don't need advice. I'm only
Mhm.
sharing, or if I need advice, communicating like, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I try to do that too because I mean, it's our natural instinct, especially if a friend is calling you. It's like, oh, let me
Exactly.
help.
Yeah.
So I definitely get that. So the third question, I feel like we touched on a little bit, but we'll try to go deeper
Okay.
into, okay, what have you believed about jealousy on a personal level, and what have you told yourself it means to be jealous? So if I'm jealous, then
Yeah. I don't know that I like ever had this thought about it. I think that jealousy I didn't have like I never assigned myself to be jealous. I just
Mm,
knew that most of the time it came in romantic relationships, and that was it.
okay.
I didn't know that, like, oh, oh, she got this. I didn't know that that energy was jealousy. I think the first place where I got to really talk about it safely was therapy. So I was able to
Mm.
unpack what that meant. Because also you hear other people when you're telling people maybe what somebody did to you. It's like, oh, they're jealous of you.
They're
And
just
it's like,
jealous, yeah.
yeah, it's like, okay, I don't know. When I was younger, I maybe believed that. As you get older, it's
Yeah.
like I don't really care. Like that's not an answer. But
I never believe that. Like every time, that's usually people's first response. Oh, she's just jealous of you, girl. And
yes,
I'm like, I never believe that. I'm always like, I don't think so.
yes. I
Like
mean, like in my 20s with my energy, I was definitely like, okay, probably, but it's like,
Leo, big
yeah.
Leo.
But now being able to talk about it safely in therapy, I I I realize it's a human emotion, like sadness, like happy, like joy, like anger. It's just so regular, but people just we just shame each other for it so much.
That was what I was thinking too. Like, what is the, you said it before, like even communicating that you're jealous to a person can be uncomfortable. And what is that thing that you, is it just because like, they're going to think I'm a hater? They're going to think,
Yes, exactly, exactly. And or they're gonna think like that I'm not happy with what I have, and it's like
yeah,
I'm okay. I just want more for myself.
heard, heard. Okay. We're moving through these. What do you tell yourself? I think we talked a little bit, but when you begin to feel jealous, like I mentioned, like certain things I tell myself, or how do you work through it in that moment? Maybe when therapy is not readily available, your
Yeah.
partner is not that understanding. Like, is there times where you just keep it to yourself, or what do you do?
Yes, 100%. And I really have to talk through it with like I really have to let it be, right? So sometimes I'll go take a walk so that I can just be like, okay, what's going on? Like, why are we feeling this way? And then I love allowing myself to go through the cycle, because on the other side of it, like I come out really thankful. I come out really excited about what I have coming on. I come out really feeling closer to God, because I'm reminded like my journey is mine and it's uniquely mine. So I would
Mhm.
definitely say I just allow myself to go through it. And a lot of times it'll come from scrolling on social, right? And so I have to like, okay, let's shut it off. Let's shut it down. Okay. And
That
once I'm back in my real world, I'm just reminded of all the things that I have, and I'm reminded of my journey and how I got here. So I'm curious for
that
you, like what does that look
I
like for
yeah.
you?
You just reminded me because I'm like, when I have things going on, I don't feel that feeling that much. Like when I, even in my relationship, like a
I could
lot of
see
times
that.
it's like, girl, go outside. Because I
Yeah.
love being home. I love being like in my skin or in my partner's skin or in like, or working. I love that.
Yeah.
We're working on, that's another episode. But so I'm like so happy alone at home that I think sometimes it's like you said something earlier about the thoughts telling myself, or something about telling yourself the thoughts you're telling yourself, something like that. But yeah, like just being here in my own head all the time is dangerous. It's
Yeah.
very dangerous.
Yeah.
It's so dangerous. So I think for me, what do I do? I think I try to just talk myself through it. Sometimes it looks ugly, and that's why I'm grateful to have a partner that is understanding. Because we just had an instance, and I'm like, that was Lana. Like I'm trying to remember what was said, but it was a comment. It was, I'm embarrassed to even talk about this, but
It's
I'm gonna do it.
okay. It's a
It
safe
was
space.
like, it's a safe space. He was like mentioning somewhere an event he went to, and he was like, but it was so many men there, and I was like, so you wanted more women there? And it was like,
That's okay.
girl. And he was like, well, I mean, yeah. And I was like, oh, why'd you want women there? And I went into this whole thing about, and it was just like, that was just Philly. Like, it was nothing wrong with saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
these
relationships
relationships are a
are
whole
hard.
nother conversation.
Yeah, we got to do another episode.
Girl, cause girl, cause girl.
Yeah, I know. It's not easy. They're not easy at all.
When I tell you, that's where I've learned the most about myself is
Whew.
with Miss Sydney Jones.
Mirror, mirror. We could talk about whatever. We could start about jealousy, but relationships
Oh
and like
God.
the biggest mirror. It's like boom, put you like I'm just gonna give you back. I'm just gonna keep giving you.
Exactly. And it's, you know what? I'm just I will say I'm so thankful for the courage to stick around, because it's
Mm,
not easy. But like I would have, if I had not stuck around, I would not know so much about myself. I don't think I'd be this deep in my relationship
mhm.
with myself. And that I am thankful for. So
And there's some partners like I've had them, we've all had them, where you can grow in the relationship, and there's some when you're like, oh, I need to do this alone. And
Yes.
having the courage to even know that and do it and like be like, dang, I love this
Right.
person so much, but I am not there, and I
Exactly.
need to be alone to do this work. Like, because that's something I think I'm when it comes to fight or flight, I'm a flight girl. Here, I'm
Yeah.
like, we can, this is
Period.
fine. We can go. We don't even have to. And I've had this is the first relationship where my partner is like, no,
Yeah, where are you
we're
going?
gonna work through, and I'll be like, you still here?
You
Like, cause like not in a bad way, but just in a way where it's kind of like insecurity driven, where it's like, I can't believe you're still here. And
Yeah.
I'm with all of that comes with me. Like, I can't believe you're still here. And not to say that we don't all have our stuff, because we do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always just like, my first, I've worked through it. My first reaction is like, let's just end it. We can just put a pin in this. And it was
Same.
fun.
Oh my God, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. You're like an HR email, like they say, girls that in relationships like an HR
Yes,
email.
it's been really nice.
And that's been so much fun. And I learned so much. And
Yeah.
I will, but you don't know how much you've grown until that next relationship comes,
Yes. Oh, girl, yes.
or not grown.
Grown or not grown. Girl, when I tell you, Sydney says that my song is "She's a runner, she's a track star," because I will be like, "Well, all right, it's been nice, but I've got to go." But she's like, and I tell her all the time because I'm not so much of a runner anymore. Like I'm much better at just kind of being like, okay,
Yeah.
this is let's figure this out. I tell her now, I'm like, I'm so proud of you. It's like I'm so proud of you for making it 8 years, and she's like, you're welcome because it wasn't easy. She can't wait to tell her story one day about me.
I love Sid. I love her jokes. I think she's so funny. I love her stories. I only met her what twice in person,
She
but she's just funny to
and
me.
she loves you. And when I tell you, I think Marcus is hilarious.
He's
Hilarious.
gonna be on an episode. We're gonna
Oh
have him.
yay! Okay, good. I can't wait to tune into
Oh
that.
my lord. We can't keep it when we're doing it. When we're doing it. I'm like, I'm doing
That
time
is
with
going to
her.
be a highly rated episode. I already know.
Oh gosh. I believe so too. I think my last question, we kind of already touched on it, just why do you think people are so afraid and so judgmental about jealousy? But I feel like
Mm.
we kind of, but go ahead if you have
Yeah, I
more.
mean, I feel like it's just like when we're scrolling social, we're reading a lot of critiques about other people, and I think even a critique about so and so, Beyonce can make me look at myself like, oh my god, if they're critiquing her, what are they going to think about this and what I put out? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I feel like we're always just ingesting like critique, somebody's opinion, and I think
Hmm.
like unless we do that work on ourselves, for me, unless I do the work on myself, I'm not going to be able to. I, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people ain't doing work on themselves, to be honest. And I can only say that because I am, and I wasn't years ago.
Yes.
And I feel like we would have a lot more empathy and compassion for each other and all of our emotions the more that we do work on ourselves. Because I kind of
Hmm.
feel like I can tell when somebody hasn't. Especially, there's a lot of interviews I watch when I just feel like the host lacks so much empathy, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just curious how much work they've done on themselves so that they can be empathetic with their guest.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's from like trying to be a hard hitting journalist who's just
I
about the
can see
facts.
that. I can see that. And there is a
But
difference, right, between a journalist and somebody who's hosting a conversation. There is a difference there.
yeah,
So you're
true.
right.
True. That's why we love Oprah, because she's so good at both of being like that journalist and also, come here, baby.
Yeah, exactly. It's she's I wonder what her Mercury is. I need to look it up because she definitely got that
Oh.
Aquarius in her where it's just like,
Whew.
ma'am. She don't just I feel like she's a lot softer than like a February Aquarius, but January Aquarius is like
Yes, correct.
and
Uh-huh.
and at this point she's our elder, so she gonna say whatever she wants.
Oh yeah, this is the best part of her. This
She
is the
gonna
best. I aspire. If God grants me these years to be that age when I can really,
dig in,
really
girl. Hello.
let her
Okay,
rip.
question for you now.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Never mind.
Go ahead, start interviewing me. I know you want to. Go
Because
ahead.
now I want to know if you watched her interview with Nicole Avant.
No, no, I didn't. I
Girl,
didn't.
because she's dropped a few episodes of Super Soul Sunday, the podcast, like on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube or whatever, and I had to turn it off. It was just so good. I was like, let me go read the book because it was
Oh,
just so they were going.
oh, it's on my list.
Yeah. It was just, yeah.
So
And she got,
good.
oh,
That's
she
I
was on with
can.
Dr. Anita. I gotta look at it. I know that's gonna be good.
What's my algorithm doing? Because I didn't see any of these.
Girl, Oprah gonna always show up. She just dropped them now. She just dropped the one with Dr. Anita.
I love to have a binge. Oh, I'm so excited about that. If you guys have not read The Garden Within, whoever
Mm.
you guys are, my two followers that are listening, I encourage you to read that book. She talks about emotions and how we can use them as information and how historically they've been always seen as bad and when they're really just indicators of like what work you have to do. So The
Hello?
Garden Within. This is
Hello and
not a paid
amen.
promotion. This is just a soul it's a soul promotion.
I like
It's
that.
a
This is
soul
absolutely a soul
promotion.
promotion because that book has really made me. I mean, I was like reading in my reading nook, and I just like would sit up, like, yes, yes, thank you so much. I feel like everybody should read that book.
Yes, everybody should read that book. Let's see. I think I had a few. Ooh, okay. I had a bonus question.
Okay, I love a
I
bonus.
don't know if we can even answer this, but let's
Okay.
just play. We can play. What do you think a world without jealousy would look like? Can we
Mm.
even imagine? Like, is everybody just weirdly happy?
You
Or
know what? I imagine that we wouldn't have that kind of world. I would love to imagine a world where um we understood what jealousy meant in our life,
Mhm.
and we operated from a place of like where we didn't judge ourselves for it. Because I think if we didn't judge ourselves for it and we had empathy for ourselves and compassion for our feelings and grace for that, it could be a more gentle and kinder world.
that's perfect. That was a great answer.
I
That
love
was
this
a
question.
fabulous answer.
Thank you.
Okay. I did have two bonus questions,
Let's do it.
but
I love questions.
I don't know. Okay, listen. The question is, can jealousy be healthy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
I
so.
think so. I think anything can be healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
say, I think all of it is healthy. I think anger is healthy. I think all of it is healthy, to be honest, because you know why it's healthy? Because it's innate, because we were
Hmm.
born with it. So why would it not be something that I'm meant to use?
Yeah, yeah. It's an emotion like any other. It's information. If we stop saying I'm emotional and just say like, or you can say I'm emotional, but the way you perceive that is I'm getting information. I'm receiving information. So
Exactly.
like
And
every
that's
like
why
you
it's healthy.
said, okay, anger, hurt, all of those information.
It's all information. So if we take the judgment out of it, right? And like then it's healthy. It's so healthy. Everything is healthy. Like that's how I'm looking at stuff, right? Like not everything. Cause okay, not everything. But anything my body is telling me is
Yeah.
healthy. So
Yeah.
and I'm gonna listen to her because she'd be like, sis, get it together.
Yes.
What's going on? Let's talk about this.
Isn't
That is
it amazing
that's
that
healthy.
you can feel everything and we're taught so for so long to like push it down, push it down, push it down. But if we really just
And to
let
think it
ourselves
through.
feel, oh
Like
yes.
I'm gonna feel it through. Like I love what Dr. Anita says in the book. She says feelings inform the way we think about something. Essentially, like our thoughts don't come first, our feelings do. Like
Mm.
and but that it comes so fast, like the feeling
Yep.
and the thought that
Then the thought is just
it's yes, exactly. Now I'm off to the races.
hmm.
And like jealousy is a feeling, it's not a thought, right? So it's like understanding that our feelings come before we even have a chance to think about them. I think it's like I don't know. It's just it's so deep.
It is deep. We just gotta put pause, like just pause with the feeling. Don't judge it
Exactly.
and just like sit for a second. Oh, and I have to share this because I found it on TikTok. Hopefully I can like put the video on here. But something I've been doing with my affirmations, I hope I can find the original video. This girl, she says the affirmations. So say we say like, I'm gonna have a great day today. And then after you say, what's the next thought? Have you heard it? Have you seen this? It's
No.
been working for me all week. So it's for
Mhm.
intrusive thinking and intrusive thoughts. So like in order to block that next thought that might diminish whatever you just affirmed. So Diamond's new Channel 9 is going to be the most successful streaming platform in the world in
Oh my God.
2024. What's the next thought? It
Yes.
stops the intrusive thought that's coming after that that says, how? You know what
Right.
I mean? It's been working
Right.
for me, so I want to share, and I really hope I can credit the creator on TikTok that came up with this. If not, search it, and maybe you can find it
You know,
because
that's really good because I'm like, oh goodness. Yeah.
it prevents that. For me, it's been working for preventing that next intrusive thought. It's just it's like training my brain to not say anything else after that. Just let the affirmation be the affirmation. So if you
Mm.
guys try it and it works for you, comment or wherever platform this is going to end up on. Comment. Definitely YouTube. So comment and let me know if what's the next thought is working for you. And One last thing to close things out with my girl Diamond. We start with the affirmation and we end with the confirmation. And
Ooh.
I want you to finish the sentence. What I
Okay.
know about myself is.
Man. Oh, I feel like I know so many things. But what I know about myself is I am divinely prepared for all of my desires to come true.
Come on, somebody. That was good. That was
So
good.
that came from the Lord.
Ooh.
He said that.
Yeah. I felt that. That gave me chills. I was gonna do one, but I'm not. We're gonna
No,
leave it right
no,
there.
no. The people
That
want to
was
hear
good.
from you.
Oh, now I gotta come up with
The
okay.
people want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I gotta hear yours.
You know what? What I know about myself is the
What?
people want to hear from me.
How- The,
You just gave it. You just gave that to me because I needed
the
that.
people do want to hear from you. When I talk to you, I just be like, I get off the phone and I'm so happy and I'm so delighted
Yes.
because you're so smart and you're so like
Oh,
it's just like I never feel like I'm being judged. I feel like you have so much grace for me. I feel like you always share your own experience with me as a reminder that you are human too and that I am human, and it's like and you're just funny too. Like you just
thanks,
nice little
Diamond. This is
package. A nice little package.
nice
The
little
people want to hear
package.
the people want to hear
Thank,
from you. I love that.
thank you. This is making me so happy. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and again, it's just for me. So it's what I'm doing for my soul work right now. So
Yeah.
thank you for being a part of the first official episode of the Five Question Podcast. Can we talk a little bit about Channel 9 real quick?
Yeah, so Channel 9, it's a community and it's a platform. Like we are really focused, and I say community first because that's our priority. And it's a community and a platform for stories, and documentaries, and shows that share, heal, and expand the heart and mind of Black women. Like I just want to create things that are for Black women and also like for the human part of Black women, right? Not just what we do, but who we are as humans. And so the stories and shows and the things that we release, they are going to all reflect that. And so it's coming soon. It's coming
Yay.
soon. Um, I'm just so nervous when I talk about it. I get so nervous.
That's
But
good.
my therapist remind me you have to trust the outcome. Don't worry about it. So I'm
Mhm.
really excited about the work that we'll do there.
I can't wait. Everything Diamond touches turns to diamond. And it's brilliant and it's like always so well produced. And so she just did a documentary, Best Friends Now Forever. Can people see that yet? Or that's gonna be
It'll
the
be
first
on
thing.
channel 9. I hope this is
It'll,
not coming out before
oh
before I
wait,
let
when is
people
it?
know. But the
I
folks
can
gonna know
cut it
next week.
out. Oh,
Okay,
they'll
yeah.
know next week. Okay. Well, there's an announcement coming
Yeah.
about the documentary, but Best Friends Not Forever is about friendship breakups, and it's so good. And we've all had them. And so I'm
Yeah.
excited for the world to see this documentary and what comes from this documentary and what comes from Channel 9. Diamond, I love you so
Oh my
much.
God, I love you too.
You're
Thank you
so
so much for having me. I'm so proud and encouraged by your continued courage to do the things that you want to do. I love it.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna figure out because this is my first time learning how to take Diamond off of here. And then I'm
You
gonna
just can I can do you have like 5 minutes after this? I just want to
Yes, hold on. So we're gonna wrap up, guys. Thank you for listening to the very first episode of the Five Question Podcast, and there will be more coming when I feel like it. See you later.